Welcome in to the home of the champions. Back to back, that's right. This is the CHGO Bears Podcast with your manager of the year, yours truly.
Oh, man, this
there it is.
heavy.
Pick it up. Pick
Look
it
at
up,
that,
buddy.
Man.
Pick it up.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Put it
Softball
right there.
champions
That's right.
back-to-back years. Taking down Odyssey back-to-back years. What up?
Yeah, well, we it's the championship game, of course, is the focus, but taking out the league of just immense talented teams week in and week out, the amount of dedication that we put into this, the people that helped us, from you, Gregory, never showing up, but yet the spirit that we felt from you behind the scenes. Same thing with everybody else here, basically, who at CHGO who never showed up, but the diehards that were out there every week. And to the people that showed up one time, to the Crystals of the world who came in as a contributor in a fill-in role, played catcher, got herself a knock, scored a run. Everybody's a part of this. And, I just am proud for all of us to stand tall today as back-to-back champs with a three-peat in mind. But that's not why you're here. This is going to be a championship-grounded, optimistic Wednesday. And Matt Waldman, who is coming up here in a second, and I'm going to let Greg introduce him. But this guy knows more about quarterback play than 99.9. So we're going to dive into what's going on with Caleb. It should be and Shane Waldron and the Bears offense. So it should be a super interesting conversation. But I do want to remind you real quick here. We are going to be out at Joe's Bar on Weed Street on Sunday. Yours truly, Gregory, Hogue, Woot, Briggs, Brown, Kaduk. Literally everybody will be there for our watch party live show, and it's $10 to get in. You can get a reserve table, 4 to 6 people, whatever. $65, all you can drink. We got Miller Lite, we got White Claw, we got mimosas, we got Bloody Marys, we got craft beers, we got import beers, we got ciders, we got anything you want, baby. $65. Hang out. Let's have a great time. Bears, Colts, 2-1 on Sunday. Gregory, good to see you. I'm excited about the gentleman that we're about to bring on here. I think is having a little bit of a dog issue.
Yeah,
but
well,
which is
there's
amazing.
no such thing as dog issues.
That's
Dogs
true.
are the greatest gift to our family. But yes, joining the show now is Matt Waldman, one of the smartest football guys. That if you're not following Matt's work, and especially when you're leading up to the draft and following his scouting portfolio of rookies that are coming out, you're doing yourself a disservice. So for anybody that isn't familiar with Matt's work that's tuning in here today, make sure you continue to follow his work. And he does things throughout the season with film review, and he helps make all of us smarter football fans. And so I certainly wanted to bring you on here today because I saw you were doing a lot of film work here over the last 24 hours since, the tough showing that the Bears offense had in Houston on Sunday Night Football. And so that's basically where I want to start with you, is with Caleb Williams. That's all, we're honed in on here in Chicago. And, with your film review, there was some good, some bad. But are you seeing progress at this point, or was there some regression from, the first 2 weeks of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. And I'd kind of like to reframe the question just a little bit, because I think we want to look forward to the idea of, like, do guys get better every week? And growth isn't linear. And so that's one of the things that we have to keep in mind, especially with a position like quarterback, which has so many facets to it, to be able to, for these players to really integrate the physical, conceptual, the technical of their games into something that's going to be productive. So really, most scouts, like in the NFL, they'll tell you it takes about 18 to 30 games to really see what a quarterback has. And I look at the first 6 games as those are the games that most NFL teams are just playing their basic looks defensively, what they do with normal game plans, without adding anything special on top of what Caleb's doing. And as a result of that, they wait to develop it, get probably about 6 to 7 weeks of scouting reports before they start slowly implementing things that they think Caleb has shown that he can't do or struggles doing, and they make him prove it. That's why a lot of quarterbacks, sometimes as rookies, start off great, and then suddenly they just sink for a while, and then we never hear from them again. Like Marcus Mariota with 5 touchdowns in his rookie debut, or Will Levis with 5 touchdowns with his rookie debut. I don't think anyone here would probably say that either of those guys are looking like, long-term starters. That said, when I looked at Caleb Williams, the important part was when he made mistakes, did his game fall apart? When he wasn't accurate, were there reasons for it that made sense? And did he keep the game? Did he manage the game correctly? And that's something that falls apart with a lot of players. I used to see it with Mitchell Trubisky back at North Carolina, that he could not manage in the black zone or in the red zone. He would not learn. He wouldn't throw balls away when he was under pressure. When somebody wasn't coming open, he tried too hard to make things happen. When you look at Caleb in this game, despite the constant onslaught of pressure that he dealt with and the inability for the Bears line to handle twists on a regular basis, he only had maybe one bad play from the pocket dealing with pressure that was on him, where he actually drifted into the pressure as opposed to climbing the pocket or staying in there. And then even after he made some mistakes with maybe some less than accurate throws that turned into interceptions or he missed opportunities, he didn't do what Jordan Love did early in his career or Levis does, which is completely fall apart and start making decisions that ruin your team. He kept the team in it. So to me, that's a huge aspect of his game, is that he was emotionally composed enough to still see the forest through the trees, to keep his team in position to make positive plays, even if he wasn't always making them or missing opportunities. He wasn't doing it in a manner where this easily could have been like a 15 or 20 point loss if he fell apart, especially deep in his own red zone. He didn't do that. He kept them in the game till the very end.
So if Caleb was sitting there right now and Coach Matt had a second with him, hey, Matt, what are you seeing 2 games in? Give me the number one thing that you think that right now I need to learn so I can be that much better going into week 3. What would you pick?
I would say over the course of time, it'd be something to plant a seed over the course of time, but I want you to continue focusing on reading safeties late pre-snap, early post-snap, so that you can identify the opportunities that are going to lead to bigger plays. And I think that comes with time and continued film study, where you can see, in that game against the Texans for sure, where you'd see the safeties rotate late and it was disguised until the last moment. And he had maybe one-on-one opportunities. In this game, there was a one-on-one opportunity on a deep post to DJ Moore, but he was looking to the left side of the field. But if he had seen the rotation that was happening late pre-snap and really put 2 and 2 together as he was making the read with the back and looking at the safety widening out to the right flat, he would have known he had that one-on-one with Moore, with the other safety that was playing deeper, outside the left hash, and he could have driven that ball for what might have been a score. So he has opportunities like that I think will come over the course of time. But I think more than anything, I would just say, just stay patient and keep grinding with, trying to understand defenses, make sure that you have rapport with your teammates. You didn't have Keenan Allen in this game, who's going to be like a second quarterback on the field for you, with reads and adjustments that are opportunities for you to make. So when Keenan comes back, I think that'll be a little bit better. But continue, and I would just validate things he did well. Continue stepping up in the pocket. Continue throwing things away if you get away from one guy and you don't find anybody open. He missed some throws that he was very close to making that I think he set the bar too high preseason and at USC tape, where he was making those types of throws off script or outside the pocket or on the move, where some of those sail routes down or deep overs across the field, where he's throwing it 30, 40 yards down the field, and he missed a couple of those in this game. I would just say, honestly, just keep doing what you're doing because you're on the right track.
Before Greg gets in here, I'm just going to make a slight adjustment. Matt, slide yourself in the pocket to the left just to drop. There you go. Stay right there. Now you can go, Greg.
Scottish Bear in the chat here is saying if you could pull that up, Steven. He says, I'd advise everyone to purchase Matt Waldman, the rookie scouting portfolio. It's every yearly evaluation. Matt Waldman is a genius evaluator. It's available for download, and that is 100% the truth. I was just telling these guys, I linked them your evaluation of Justin Fields as he came out with the Chicago Bears, and it was impressive in the moment to watch your evaluation of what Justin Fields could be as a quarterback, but then even more impressive as the years went on, because a lot of the things you said certainly held serve. So I guess that's where I want to go with Caleb Williams. Your evaluation of Caleb Williams coming out of USC, knowing he's going to get drafted by the Bears, and then translating that to what you've seen here these first 2 weeks. Because, I mean, Caleb Williams, he's not like Josh Allen, who, might be more of an unknown. Caleb Williams is on the national stage every week. We all watched him play the last 3 years. He won a Heisman Trophy. And I guess the biggest thing for me that I don't know if the word's concerning, but the thing that I wasn't anticipating is, and I understand there's a lot of chaos going on, but the accuracy right now I thought would be a little more on point, and it's just all over the place right now. So just your interpretation of what you've seen from your scouting to what you're seeing now, and your thoughts on his accuracy issues right now, because I know you mentioned that earlier.
Sure.
As far as making sense of that.
Well, I think with accuracy, one of the things that happens is there's a lot going on beneath that, in the sense that quarterback is a performance position that's like on a stage. And as a result of that, you're as I talk about, integrating a lot of different skills. So when you're learning a new offense, you're also facing defenses that are far more complex at how they disguise everything. And the players are much faster all around. And everybody was a top college player that you're facing on that defensive unit for the most part. It's a major jump. And it's a major jump from preseason to regular season. Because how many guys lead the NFL in quarterback rating, their rookie year in the preseason, who we never hear from again, who are just backups? Brett Hundley, Bruce Gradkowski, Skylar Thompson, who I like kind of, but we'll see how Skylar does now 3 years in. But, it's a long list of names like that. So the preseason is kind of like playing SEC football, but with like a lot of different, how would I put it? A lot of different people coming in and out of the game, and not a lot of rapport. So looking at this right now, what's happening is that he's probably thinking so much about, what he's seeing on the field, and trying to make sure that he's accurate with all the things that he has to manage, because he doesn't have that as ingrained as he will next year, that it's causing him to think a little bit more, and it slows down every kind of process, or forces him to rush things in a matter where you're going to be a step off or 2 steps off with a throw. You're going to wait too long to get rid of the ball, or you're going to overthink things. So for me, this is, it's one of those things where you have to understand that it's a year-long process to become very good at ingraining this level of the game to the point where you're not thinking about it. Because if you think as a quarterback, then you're a beat late on when to pull the trigger on a throw. Or if you start thinking about it in the middle of your process, now the process is inaccurate. So to me, this is just this is just one of those things that if we start looking week to week, it's like watching grass grow. You're not going to see it happen. And then if you think you saw it happen, it was probably due to something else. Like, you had too many beers the night before, or somebody slipped something, in your coffee that you didn't realize was there. And now you're seeing colors that grass really isn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I think
I know what you're saying. I took mushrooms a few times.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And you look at like what Michelle Maddow's saying about Kurt Warner, Kurt Warner being a former quarterback, he's one of the things that I know about Kurt that a lot of former quarterbacks are good at is talking about scheme. And they're like kind of the grammarians of quarterback analysis. They don't get very super philosophical, and they know about their scheme and their experience, and they apply their experience to it, which is not necessarily scouting and watching development. It's really about pointing out errors and pointing out from their perspective, how they approach things within their system. And I think Kurt Warner does that great, but it's also not scouting and projecting development. And scouts will tell you that year one, we got to give the guy time and room to understand what he can and can't get away with. The things that he needs to get, getting off the pocket and making certain throws that he made at USC is different than what he's going to have to do against the defensive front of guys who are all faster than anybody that he probably faced in the Pac-10.
Hold that thought, Matt. I want to continue to dive into that, but I just want to get the people that make the show possible in here, and one of them is our friends at Monster Jam, which is coming to Chicagoland. Ton to dive in here with, Matt. This is a great conversation. Hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. But our friends at Monster Jam back to Chicagoland, the only place to see the world's most popular trucks, best drivers. They're coming in Allstate Arena September 20th to the 22nd, which is this weekend. Massive stunts, big air, backflips, crazy skills, engineered to perfection. The 12,000-pound monster trucks, they push the limit. That makes the entertainment just flow. If you go out to Allstate Arena, you'll see what I'm talking about. Championship Series is going to be a ton of fun this weekend. Experience big-time family fun at Monster Jam, the most unexpected, unscripted, and unforgettable motorsports experience for families and fans in the world today. It's Monster Jam. Again, Allstate Arena this weekend, September 20th to the 22nd.
That's right. And when you're at Monster Jam or when you're winning softball championships back-to-back, you can look even cooler when you're wearing your Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays has you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably have a style in your favorite team's colors. They definitely do, because we've got them all here at our studio. And if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, which you probably will, but if you don't, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. The team always has your back with personal and fast support. So exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
As we bring Matt Waldman back in here, and what I'm hearing that you're saying, Matt, and this is something that I've heard from a lot of guys who played the game or watched the game intently. It is, forget about what C.J. Stroud did last year. First-year quarterbacks who haven't sat and learned, the learning curve, the steepness of it is incredibly high and incredibly difficult to do it. So just as an overall general point, in your ideal world, would you tell an organization, do not play a rookie quarterback in his first year? He's not ready.
1,000% in most cases, because to me, I believe when you look back at quarterbacks who've won Super Bowls or have been Pro Bowl or All-Pro caliber players, ranging from guys like Steve McNair and Drew Brees to Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Brett Favre, you can move forward with a lot of those guys. They got intermittent playing time. They started, they got benched. When things got too fast for them, their coaches sat them down and said, hey, watch the veteran do this. Come back. Jordan Love getting to sit for a while. Jordan Love would not be what he was last year if he didn't have to sit all that time, because he was a guy who would melt down just at like a pinprick of a mistake at Utah State. So you're looking with Caleb Williams, though, when I did a scouting report on him, what I felt was if there is a quarterback who could survive the onslaught of being a rookie on a team that has some clear weaknesses that could make his first season tough, he's the one. So, and that's really what I expect, is that, if it's not a good offensive line, you get the crap beat out of you. And think about the fact that when you're taking hits like he had on Sunday, imagine you put your hand in a windowsill and someone slams the windowsill on your hand. Oop, my bad. You'll probably put your hand back in the windowsill that next time and not be worried about it. But if someone kidnapped you and sadistically kept slamming the windowsill on your hand as a form of punishment every hour on the hour, you probably start breaking out in a cold sweat when you see an open window just walking through your house once you're rescued. And I think that happens cumulatively to quarterbacks throughout the course of the game. So the fact that, Williams has the wherewithal to still continuing to make decisions without completely melting down is the most encouraging thing. And it sounds basic. I know people want to see him making those highlight passes. They want to see him raising up all the boats this year. But really, even Patrick Mahomes, he got almost a full year to sit, behind Alex Smith. And that was very important to him. So the fact that Caleb's got to work through this and that early on he's not melting down, to me, just validates that he is the most prepared to handle this.
Yeah, no, you're right. After week one, a lot of people were commending Caleb for not turning the ball over, but I felt there was times that there was tip passes that easily could have been picked off. And the thing that, to your point, that was most impressive to me is in the fourth quarter, while they only got a couple field goals and a 2-point conversion, that was after all the chaos of Tavondre Sweat and Jonathan Simmons. And for him to be able to do that in his first game was really impressive to me. So, okay, not going to have a C.J. Stroud rookie year. I think we're already to that point where we have to come to grips with that reality. But in the last 10 years, you look at rookie quarterbacks, specifically first-round picks coming out, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Cam Newton, quarterbacks are more prepared to jump in their rookie season more than they ever had been back when we were growing up, in the early days of football. So how does Shane Waldron, because everybody's talking about personnel and everybody's talking about the play calling, because in fans' world, that's the most simplistic way of trying to say this is how you fix things when it's way more complex than that. But how does Shane Waldron try to put Caleb Williams in a position where he can succeed while still having this large developmental curve of learning so much about the nuances of the game?
Yeah, I think that what you have is when I scout players, I often say that there's two broad ends of each spectrum. The one end of the spectrum is what I call a schemed up player. Like Gabriel Davis is a good example of a schemed up player. He's not going to get open on his own as much as he's going to have the team run play action and misdirection to get him open. Like they're going to work to make him the primary off of types of plays where they're going to do a lot of work as a collective to make sure he's open. Whereas a matchup players like Stephon Diggs in his prime, who can run any route, and Jalen Ramsey in his prime can be on him on 3rd and 16, and he knows that the out route's coming, and he still can't stop it. Okay? That's the ends of those spectrum. For quarterbacks, Malik Willis last week against, who did they play last week that I'm trying to remember? Oh, against the Colts. Yeah. That I've watched so many games this week that it kind of jumbles together. But against the Colts, they did a lot of schemed plays with him. Screens, RPOs, different throwouts, different rollouts where he had limited choices to make. But because the run game was working, because they could get into a rhythm, they utilized his athletic ability to a good effect, and they were able to formulate a good game plan around his strengths. Well, Caleb Williams, to me, is eventually going to become a very good matchup quarterback. He has those skills to be that guy who can create. But early on, if your offensive line isn't your help, scheme more plays up. Do more plays. And they're hard to do because teams sniff them out, and it forces your offense coordinator to have to work harder to create more original types of plays, and you have to get these things down. But more things with misdirection, more things with motion, more things with play action, where there's maybe quicker reads, quicker execution, and then you can open some things up maybe for some big plays down the line here. But I think that's that may be helpful, is that you're not asking him right away to make Aaron Rodgers type of decisions or Tom Brady type of decisions. Let him err on the side of being Malik Willis, even, in Green Bay last week, and let him do some more simple things and have it work out. I mean, look, game planning is a good example. I'm down here in Atlanta, and real quickly, Kirk Cousins, like for the past 2 weeks, I think he hasn't thrown more than 2 balls over 20 yards down the field, up the boundaries, coming off that Achilles where he can't plant that front foot and generate torque. And you can tell they're protecting him. When he has to throw it to the boundaries inside of 20 yards, it's low. It seems weak as a throw. And they just beat the Philadelphia Eagles with an offensive game plan that was able to work for them because they established the run. They could work the edges with the run and with screen passes and quick scheme plays. And then they could let Kurt read the field in the middle of the field, complementing off of that. So I think if they can just find ways to maybe simplify things a little bit, let him get a rhythm, let him kind of get into the game that way, and let defenses kind of come up with solutions and you come up with counters, I think that might be a little bit better off for the offense.
Matt, the entire chat here, or at least half of it probably, everyone's pointed at the offensive line. And Matt Eberflus got up there and was asked about, it's like, hey, look, not just the O-line, it's the running backs, it's the quarterback, it's the tight ends. He's including everybody in it. When you look at the Bears' failure to be able to protect Caleb and run the ball, how much are you putting that on the play calling and the scheme versus just this is a rookie quarterback who maybe is not quite ready to set the whole thing up for success?
Yeah, and I think that's what tells you is he's probably right. One, he's right philosophically to answer to the media that it's our team, so that he doesn't single anybody out and throw them under the bus right away. He's trying to provide that type of leadership and instill that our quarterback's the figurehead. And there's a valid point that Caleb may not have all the freedom to make changes at the line, or may not be recognizing certain changes to make adjustments to protections based on what defenses are disguising. And you could see on the tape that there were some instances, as I said earlier, where maybe he didn't see the late pre-snap, post-snap disguises that he could do some work with there. But at the same time, we're not in the era of football where we're making the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning wait for 25 seconds and then make the play call and read the defense and get them to show something and then make the adjustment. We're not really in that era as much anymore. So really part of that too is you can create, again, that goes back to maybe creating more scheme plays where you don't have to make those types of assessments as often. So I'd say there may be some elements there. The offensive line and the backs obviously have to execute, so they have to be communicating well in terms of, and maybe part of that is Caleb having to send these backs to one side or tight ends to one side to account for different twists or potential blitz looks or different alignments where guys are going to get through gaps easily and they need to do that. But I also saw a lot of offensive line. Everyone saw a lot of offensive line failures where linemen weren't blocking edge defenders and were helping out on double teams and just letting guys go right through. And the back either wasn't sent to the correct side or the back wasn't really even part of that equation. It seemed to be more about the guard, center, tackle, and what they were assigned to. So it is a complete issue, and I understand how a coach may look at it and say, I know it was only one play on Caleb, or it was only one play on the running back, but the gravity of those plays outweigh maybe 2 or 3 plays that we saw with the offensive line. Sometimes that happens too, is that the gravity of one play can be much greater than a series of plays.
Matt, really appreciate you coming on here today. I definitely hope to have you back. You just have such an extended knowledge of the game that really helps people like me understand it at another level. So again, for everybody that's tuned in, make sure you're going to his website, downloading his rookie scouting portfolio that he does every single year as you lead up to the draft. Obviously, we do a lot of draft coverage here, but Matt, you're somebody that I lean on to try to help me be a little more educated with the endless amount of people coming out in the draft. I mean, you and like I said, my guy Draft Dr. Phil, you guys grind it all the way down to knowing who even the undrafted guys are and who the guys in the back end of the 7th round are. So if there's any other work that you want to promote here real quick, maybe give a shout out to the viewers that want to kind of know where to find you and where to follow your work.
Sure, I appreciate that. I've been doing the rookie scouting portfolio for 20 years now. This is my 20th season. You can find information on it at mattwaldman.com. I evaluate quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers. I provide scouting reports to guys like Will Hewlett, who is the position coach who trained pre-draft guys like Caleb, Brock Purdy, Anthony Richardson. He's worked with those guys. I provide scouting reports to him and Tom Gormley, who've been featured about the work that they do with pro quarterbacks. You can find me also at mattwaldmanrsp.com, where I provide lots of different film room reviews from my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman RSP's Film Room. I have over 800 videos on there, some with guests, some just on my own, breaking down all these different prospects and the fundamentals there. And I'm a fantasy guy. I'm a senior staff writer at footballguys.com. They're a great site, have a lot of great people on that. And so I write about 5 columns a week for them during the season. And then, and while I'm scouting tape, and then of course, you can find my podcast, Matt Waldman's RSP Cast, on just pretty much any outlet. And I work with a Chicago area guy by the name of Brandon Angela. You should get him on your show if you have a chance. Brandon is a former running back at Purdue whose highlight of his career may have been that he got beat by Tyreek Hill in an all SEC freshman event. And they were laughing at Tyreek, thinking this short guy's not going to beat us. But he's a former running back. He's a trainer to pro athletes. And we do a podcast together. He's fantastic. So, you can check all that out. MattWaldman.com or MattWaldmanRSP.com. You'll find stuff there.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt, for all your time.
Matt, I want to hire you to read to me at night. Your voice is so soothing that it's. I think
my wife likes the fact that I tell her occasionally that I get people saying that, and they go, My wife says you're the only person that she can listen to on podcasts, of the football podcast that I do. To go to sleep, and I'm going. So I tell my wife that as a flex, and she laughs, and that's.
But you should flex on that. Hey, Matt, we'll do this again. So thanks so much for the time.
Thanks, Greg. Take care, fellas.
Yep.
All right, that was
it's great.
A lot there we can talk about coming on back here, but first, that's right, our friends at ComEd. Gregory, as you know, it's getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. Something we can all get behind. It's for the health, the planet, for the well-being of all of us who share it.
That's right, your sweet Bippy. The electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence towards an electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
So, Gregory, what should business owners do?
You should go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Did you say ComEd.com/clean?
You bet your sweet Bipperoony I did. Go now and see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come.
That is a beautiful thing that ComEd is doing, and it's also a beautiful thing that GameTime is doing. GameTime has a new feature. It's called GameTime Picks.
Oh, cool.
It's making tickets, getting them a whole lot easier than ever before. As Gregory cracks his
shut up
cocktail for the show. GameTime Picks filters out the fluff to show you the incredible deals. That's all you're going to see on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They're making it easy for you. They're going to give you the super deal. They're going to give you the seat views before you buy. They're giving you the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. Everything they're doing for you is making it the best place to get your tickets. All in pricing, too. You toggle and use that feature. No surprise fees at checkout. You know exactly what you're paying. That's my favorite because it just gives you – I like to live in the real, and that's living in the real, as I call it. Plus, as I said, the lowest price guarantee. GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference if you find a better price in that section somewhere else. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code is CHGO, $20 off. Download GameTime today. What time is it?
Game time, huh?
That's right. Makes you think of the Bulls. That makes you think of back-to-back champs. And I'm looking at this trophy here, Greg.
Yes, sir.
2011 Chirp, 2012 WBZ, 2013 Chicago Now, 2014 WBZ, then the Red Eye, then the Reader, then the Reader in 2016 and 2017 were the only squad to ever do it back-to-back until CHGO 2023-2024. So we have an opportunity next year to do what the Reader nor anybody else has ever done, and that is where we're going to set our goals right now. Slight detour from the show to the back-to-back champion softball.
Oh, congratulations.
Reader, we're coming for you. We are coming for you. Reader, three-peat Bears. All right.
So, Steven, are we rocking a game recap from our guys over at the 85 here to kick things off C Block?
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
Yeah, I know we had a lot going on this morning, and I saw you kind of working behind the scenes as we were talking with the great Matt Waldman. So do we want to kick things off here and give a little game recap?
Let's absolutely give a game recap. The 85 is growing. If you haven't subscribed, do it right now. The 85 is amazing. Cole's doing a phenomenal job bringing on different guests. Hoger's in there, knocking it down as he always does. And, let's get a game recap, baby. I'm excited.
This is the game recap presented by Ankin Law, injury law made personal. They're here to help. Visit ankinlaw.com to learn more. All right, Cole, as always, everybody can hear your much more expanded and full thoughts on the game and everything else on the 85 with Cole Kmet. So make sure you are subscribed to that channel and subscribe to the podcast as well, wherever you get your podcast, just like you're listening to this one right now, CHGO Bears. All right, Cole, I know it was a tough loss the other night. Long-ish flight home in the middle of the night after a loss. Those are never fun. Just your overall thoughts on what happened in Houston. You guys are still 1-1 after 2 weeks.
Yeah, 1-1 after 2 weeks. Obviously a tough loss and frustrating because I think we all felt that it was a game that we could have won, and defense did a really good job of putting us offensively in really good positions. Obviously the kicking game continues to be really good with Torrey and Cairo. Cairo nailing his kicks and Torrey getting a lot of punt and pin situations. So we want to continue doing that. Offensively, we just got to do a better job of capitalizing on our opportunities. Despite how it went throughout the game, which I thought came to a good start, we had obviously a lull there in the middle throughout the game, but still had an opportunity there at the end to go win it. So just things we got to clean up on. Obviously, we want to be better in the run game. Better execution down the stretch there and pass protection and all that stuff. But, I think there's things on the film that we can look at and improve from. We're not hitting the panic button yet. There's a lot of season left. There's 15 games left here. And as an offense, we just got to continue taking steps forward and catch up here with how our defense and teams units are playing. So, look, we're looking at it from an optimistic standpoint. And there's a lot to improve on, a lot that we can correct here throughout the week, and hopefully that we can get this thing going here starting this week against Indianapolis.
We talked a lot on the 85 about some of those corrections that need to be made, so I'm going to encourage people to go check that out, listen to that. One thing we didn't really get into a whole lot though is just Caleb's kind of game over game improvement. I know certainly wasn't perfect the other night, but he did start off 5 for 5. I love the sort of bluff slant. It feels like those are a long time coming, just as somebody who's watching. Can we just hit a third down slant sometimes?
Yeah.
They look so easy, I know, when you're watching the game, and they're not. But I did love that play to DJ Moore. So it seemed like, especially early on, it seemed like Caleb was in control, and there were some improvements from week 1.
Yeah, absolutely. He seemed poised, especially around the game. There was a cool third down he hit to DeAndre on the sideline there, and kind of showing off his arm talent and his ability to get rid of the ball in that regard. So that was really good to see. And, as we were talking about, like, you just can't replace these looks that you're getting in the regular season. So these will all be different and new looks that Caleb will get tested with week in and week out, especially with being a rookie, and defensive coordinators are can continue to test his knowledge of his offense and the way that he processes defenses. And, I thought, he took a step up from the week before, and, that's all that matters. And he's got to continue doing that. So, again, his attitude though has been outstanding for the past 2 weeks, even through some struggles here offensively, and his attitude and the way he commands himself on the in the huddle and on the sideline has been great. And he just keeps everybody in the game. So he's just got to continue being that leader and continue taking steps week in and week out.
Again, a lot more on the 85 from Sunday's game. Turn our attention now to the Indianapolis Colts. And we broke that down a lot. Alec Pierce, wide receiver from the Colts, is on the show this week too. One thing I forgot to ask you, though, was 3 games against the AFC South to start the season is a little weird. Do you like that, though?
Well, I just noticed that going into this week, really. And I was like, that's so strange. I mean, I don't know if I really have a preference for it one way or the other. It is a little strange, though, playing all these, AFC teams off the bat like this. So I guess it is what it is to the schedule. I think it's weird that we don't play a division opponent until, week 11?
I agree.
That's strange to me. But it's part of the NFL scheduling, and we'll just have to roll with it.
All right, fair enough. So Bears and Colts this weekend coming up in Indianapolis. Should be a lot of Bears fans down there and a fun game. Again, you can check out the 85 for much more discussion like this. This was the game recap presented by Anken Law. Injury law made personal. They're here to help. Visit ankenlaw.com to learn more.
All right. Good stuff, as always, from Cole and Hoger as they did the game recap. Thank you to Anken Law for being a great partner here as well. So, look, we're going to get into the O-line here to sort of wrap up the show, or just actually, I don't know if we want to wrap the show up. We might just talk for another 3 hours about this.
I'd do that.
So people are piling on, and we did plenty on Sunday night and on Monday about the Bears O-line. I'm trying to take a step back here.
Few steps.
Maybe even 5 steps back on just a couple things. First off, as it relates to the quarterback, Caleb Williams, I told myself this before the season, and I knew that I would fail. And 2 weeks,
we all do.
2
it's
weeks,
okay. We're human.
2 weeks in, I am failing. The only thing that matters this year is his overall development, and you have to. It's almost like going to. If you have kids and you're going to watch them play and they're 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, high school, doesn't even matter. For a fact, Stephen Gregg wants to talk to you for something. So for a fact that the ref's going to make a bad call and you're going to want to go out there and scream at the official or going to get mad at the coach or going to whatever. All these things are going to happen, and you have to brace yourself to not be the crazy parent. I'm saying don't be the crazy Bear fan right now. This dude's into week 2. He's going into week 3. There's 7 zillion things going on the football field that he hasn't done before. You've got guys in front of him, some of whom who are figuring their way. You got a brand new offensive coordinator who's figuring out his way. So kind of, in my mind, you have to take winning and Super Bowls and all of that just off the table for a second and sort of just sit back and realize, tell yourself, this is not going to look pretty. He's going to struggle. Let's look for the moments in time where, like, there it is. That's what he can do. That's why he's going to be great. And we saw that in week 2. When the Texans weren't blitzing, the dude started out 5 for 5. And then they were like, oh, let's see if he can handle the blitz. Let's see if they can handle the blitz. Well, the answer was they couldn't handle the blitz. And everything went sideways, and it looked horrible. But at some point, he is going to be able to handle that stuff. So it's like, all right, you got me here now, and maybe they'll get him there for a while. Maybe, for another half of the season. But at some point, he's going to pick it up. And then once he has it, then now you're going to, turn in the corner, and you got that guy with that much talent, plus the knowledge. And then you get some better players in front of him, too, which they're going to have to add. you can. I think it's pretty easy to get yourself to a glass half full.
Yeah, 100%. I just, to me, it's about getting to that point without him getting hurt. Because last Sunday,
yes,
you were putting him in harm's way.
Yes,
he's putting himself in harm's way. Well, yes. That is the biggest concern. Is yes, there could come that point where he finally starts to get all of that, but to that point, you have to protect him, and he has to protect himself to be able to make it through to that point. So I think there, like I've been saying for the last month, there's a balance between trying to figure out, how to let this guy develop and have the learning curve and let him make mistakes versus trying to call plays to win games, because this team is in a win now mode with the roster they have and the defense they have. So I think it's a tough balancing act for Matt Eberflus that they got to try to navigate through. But through 2 games, they're 1-1. They had an opportunity to win in game 2. So let's see here, these next 3 games, winnable games, but you got to try to be conscientious of Caleb Williams' developmental curve and try to protect him as much as you can while also trying to win games. It's not easy.
Well, to the defense part of it, is Kyler Gordon old? Is Jaquan Brisker old? I'm a little worried about the concussions there, but is Montez Sweat old? Is Jervon Dexter Sr. old? My point, I think pretty clearly here, they're going to be good for a while. It's not like this is your last shot at it right now.
Right.
They have some time.
Yeah, but players aren't wired like that.
I understand.
Coaches aren't wired like that. Players aren't wired like that. Jobs are on the line for people, whether you know what I mean. Like contracts are on the line.
It doesn't matter. He's not ready.
Not everything for these guys is about, well, hey, Caleb will eventually be good. Like I think as a general idea, they buy into that, but at the same time, they're also just worried about themselves and the best they can possibly have year to year. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody, especially on a football field.
All true, but look, you drafted a rookie quarterback, and you drafted an insanely talented one, so you just know logically that it's going to take time. They don't win championships their first year. They get better, and they get to a point where they're capable of doing it. I mean, if it was about winning right now, you would either brought in a veteran quarterback, or if you didn't, you'd play Tyson freaking Bagent, my guy, because he's been through it for a year, and he's actually has 4 starts under his belt. It's just going to take a second here. I think I'm calming myself down, if not everybody else, or probably enraging some people too. And by the way, if you're still in an enraged moment, I got a recommendation for you. Go to Sunnyside. That's our friends. Your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. It's a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, purchase a wide array of high-quality products. The menu is deep, 100 strains to choose from, easy online ordering, in-store pickup. Good News and Mindy's are delicious. And if you're one of the pros out there that's been doing this for a long time, they got 100 strains for you on the menu, something for everybody. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including, for you, 50% off your first 3 online purchases. 50% off on your first 3. Do it right now. The promo code HICHGO at checkout. Put that in there to qualify. Exclusions do apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day. Only for 21 and over or Illinois medical card holders. Thank you very much to our friends at Sunnyside. Again, sunnyside.shop.
That's right. Want to give a quick shout out here to our friends over at CDJR. Before you hit the road, Ray at CDJR, of course. Before you hit the road this fall, head to Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and start your adventure there this September. Shop new, lower prices across their huge inventory during Jeep Adventure Days going on right now. For a limited time, lease the new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo for just $239 a month for 27 months, or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. Let the amazing team at Ray CDJR help you during each step of your car shopping journey. With Ray's Price Promise, the numbers you're hearing now are the same prices you can expect to shop in-store and online. That's because Ray's Price Promise means no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees. Since they prioritize affordability for their customers, Hurry into Ray's CDJR today and shop one of the Chicago's area's largest inventories, then drive home with more money in your pocket than you'd expect. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram because they are the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com. Serving the community since
1963.
That's right.
All right. By the way, that was the year that the Bears won an NFL title. Shout out to Ed Obradovich. It's also, which is similar to this year, when CHGO won the softball championship. All right. Tevin Jenkins. We have this, right? So this was Tevin on Twitter? Correct?
No, well, this is, we're going to play a clip from Tevin in the locker room.
Thank you.
You know,
I know what's happening on the show.
Yeah, that's okay. We had a lot going on this morning. So we, Tevin made some comments that certainly made some rounds on social media after we put it out on YouTube and Twitter and stuff of Tevin's thoughts. And this is just kind of carry over from this conversation we've had all day from trying to decipher what's going on. So this is Tevin Jenkins from the locker room asked about the protection issues they're having, at the line of scrimmage.
Tev, do you have a sense of why the protection hasn't been up to your standard through 2 games?
To my knowledge, I don't know. I mean, we get our call up front, and we execute to what we're getting coached to do. I mean, a lot of things happen, but like pressures and stuff, so we can only control so much.
So there you go. We can only control so much. He's basically telling you right there, Carm, Greg, you, the offensive line questioners and haters out there, Jeff Saturday, all of you, that, hey, man, I'm doing my job. This is the dude that I was supposed to block.
Right.
I did what I was supposed to do. So bring that noise somewhere else. That's what he's telling you.
And he said it again on Twitter. I think it has now since been deleted, but Clay Harbor had put out one of the videos that was making rounds where a safety comes down into the box and blitzes through the B gap. And, he just comes free, right? And we've seen this here. Justin Fields had some moments last year where a guy comes in hot and he gets blasted. And Caleb Williams, is standing right there. Tevin Jenkins and Coleman Shelton are double teaming on a block. And here comes this safety through that nobody picks up. And Clay Harbor puts this video out, and a fan tagged Tevin Jenkins with and asked him with a question mark, well, hey, what's the deal here? And Tevin said to the fan, just like he's saying here in the locker room, not my guy, can only hope to try to take the hit off late. And so, he deleted it at the end of the day because I think Bears fans were taking it and run with it and questioning what he's trying to say. But at the end of the day, I do think he's being honest, just like he's being honest in that locker room quote. Like, hey, this is my responsibility here. And so there has to be adjustments outside of just we're so focused in on Shane Waldron needs to get his shit together. The offensive line needs to block better. But at the end of the day, this whole thing is connected, as you just mentioned, Carm. And so to me, we all just have to kind of take a step back, understand that we're not in that room. And we don't know what the checks at the line of scrimmage are, what the calls are, and what they're trying to figure out from Shane Waldron trying to implement a new offense and Caleb Williams trying to learn as a rookie quarterback. And so they're trying to do their job the best they can. But at the end of the day, there is going to be some growing pains and there is going to be some mistakes. And let's just hope as the weeks go on, they can start to clean some of those things up.
Has Tevin Jenkins ever been a bad teammate?
No.
Has Tevin Jenkins ever been dishonest with the media?
No.
No. Is Tevin Jenkins one of the most forthright guys in that room?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So is Tevin Jenkins a talented offensive lineman?
100%.
Is Tevin
that should be the tell right there because
exactly
he's not played well the first 2 weeks from how it looks on film or when you're just watching the game, but he's a talented offensive lineman. So that should be the tell that they just don't have everything cleaned up operationally to try to make this offense work.
And what's different this year from last year?
The offensive coordinator.
What else is different?
the rookie quarterback.
That's right.
Right.
Okay. So you got two huge
big factors in an offense in deciding how things are going to go.
So like I mean, I think people need to take a step back here and
we all do, including us. On the post-game show, we're gearing up on the offensive line.
I put us first, but I'm seeing it here in the chat, and people are coming at Tevin, dude. The problems that the Bears have, Tevin Jenkins ain't near the top of the list. That dude is a good football player. He needs to, as long as he's healthy, I will bet on him. Now, should they move him over to right guard to try to get a powerful right side of the line? Okay, that's interesting. And I don't think they're going to, for the record. But him doing that, he could have been way more honest. But he's not going to throw a teammate under the bus or a coach under the bus. So in essence, he sort of did, saying, I don't know. But that's the bind that he's in, because that guy likes to tell you the truth. And so when he's in,
he's telling the truth. Matt Eberflus, when he came to the locker room, as much as in the postgame show, we were irritated because he, what we felt like is like singling out his quarterback, saying, well, the quarterback's got to do better here. But at the end of the day, they're trying to, without throwing anyone under the bus, try to tell you some things about what's going on. And so we all just have to either take them at their word, or we can just question everything and piss and moan, which I'm, everybody knows I'm happy to do. I'm happy to come on these shows and just rant and rave, and we all watch. But we, as much as we hyped up or got overhyped to week one, and I am as guilty as anyone, at the same time, we also acknowledge that there would be a process to this development, and that while they can still win now, they still can win now. I'm not waving the white flag on any opportunity for this team to go on a run and win some games, including here this Sunday, next Sunday, the week after that. But while that's going on, we have acknowledged that there will be a developmental curve and a learning process and some bumps along the way. So it's not, to me, talking out of both sides of our mouth. It's more of both things can be true.
So a couple problems that I have right now. One, this chat is going to learn how to spell Tevin. It is Teven. It is not Tevin. It is Teven. We just put some respect on Tevin's name. Damn it, Teven. By the way, I'm one of the worst spellers of all time, and I've spelled it Tevin about 100 times too. So I'm with you in there, but we're gonna spell it right. Look, no one's saying that season's over or that they're gonna not make the playoffs or any of that. I'm with you, Gregory. But I just think it's pretty obvious what's going on here, and to the coaching point of everybody being in on it, how does Shane Waldron make this simpler for the rookie quarterback to succeed, to have guys in the right position, to do their job? Because, up front, if you're those guys and that's your assignment, you got to take care of your assignment. That's all. You start going off the board, then it's going to look like, Bragg's at a CHGO tailgate. Like if you just, you're doing so many things that it's stressful for all of us because you won't incorporate help. Honestly, you just need to stay in your lane, and you go what? Every which way.
And our guy Tim Shanley, who is kind of the head of the Chicago Bears tailgating club and operates the madness and the chaos that goes on there. After week one last year, that was the advice he gave me. He's like, Greg, you're everywhere. You're running around like an angry maniac. You need to slow down,
right?
And let other people. You need to implement your help and direct people and slow your roll, because the faster you try to work, the worse it's going to get.
You were a rookie tailgater. You didn't know.
I was a rookie tailgate organizer.
That's right, baby. There it is. You're a champion.
We're celebrating a championship. Back to back. So, yes.
Yeah. Look, I feel better.
Today was great. Today has been a great day.
Yeah. So,
and then before we wrap this show up and get to some of the super chats and final thoughts, I want to give a quick shout out to let you guys all know to become a diehard at CHGO Bears and CHGO Sports. If you go to allchgo.com/diehard, you can sign up, get a free shirt as soon as you sign up. Discounts on all future shirts. We just dropped the Claws Up shirt. There's some special stuff coming up your way, so make sure you stay tuned for all that. There's always new designs dropping for CHGO Sports for all our different teams. And you get discounts on events, including our, Joe's on Weed Street event, the live watch party here coming up this Sunday, September 22nd, where we're going to be having giveaways, watching the Bears and Colts, live pregame, live postgame, live Briggs and Brown show, Alex Brown, Lance Briggs, Corey Wooten, Adam Hogue, Mark Carman. I mean, everybody, and a bunch of other CHGO sports people are going to be there as well. Come on through, hang out with us. You get a discount when you become a diehard. You get exclusive content like Carm's grades and Adam Hogue's weekly newsletter. Nick Moriano puts out a bunch of exclusive content to you. So there's so much that we offer to you guys to try to make it worth your while and let it pay for itself. So I highly encourage you to become a diehard here at CHGO Sports.
Apparently our chat today, this is kind of funny. There's a chat summary.
I know, this stupid chat GPT thing.
I cannot stand this thing. It's so wrong all the time.
Viewers are expressing frustration on the performance of the Bears and its management. The conversation includes mentions of Justin Fields, Caleb Haney, Matt Eberflus, Ryan Poles, and the quality of the offensive line. It's a good effort there, Chat GBT. You're not going to replace me, Chat GBT, because you don't know the difference between Caleb Williams, Chat GBT, and Caleb Haney. You suck, Chat GBT. I'm keeping this job forever. $9.99 from Crystal, who should have been there last night. Hey, guys, stopping in to say, hey, make sure you get your ticket for the live show on Sunday. Come on out to Joe's Bar on Weed Street Sunday. Tickets are selling. Going to have a good group. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You're a lot of fun.
You are the fun. Without you, life is no fun. When you leave this earth, I'm going to leave right with you. I can't go on without you. So stick around.
You're considerably older, so
but I'm also
saying
considerably healthier.
That's not true. I just went to my personal doctor here just the other day, and it turns out I am in like peak physical condition and peak health. Maybe more peak health than peak physical condition, but I am in peak health condition. My wife was like resenting me as he was reading off my charts that had like blood work and EKG and all this different stuff, and I am in like the greatest health you can possibly be in.
That's great to hear, Gregory.
And Jenny was like resenting me as she was sitting there and mad that I'm in such a healthy condition.
I might consider getting a second opinion. Next up on the Super Chat realm is our friend Kyle, $9.99, $10 from Kyle. Thank you. As fans of this poverty franchise, how do we put emotion and frustration aside during press conferences with coaches of this poverty franchise? I myself won't be able to hold back. That's a huge challenge, Kyle. And I got to be honest, I got to check myself too, because when Matt Eberflus talks and doesn't call anybody out, it is not easy. But I think you got to get to the point of sort of just speaking the Flus and respecting the Flus and just knowing that he's not going to do it. That's not his personality. It's one of the reasons why he has survived in that locker room through a 3-win and 7-win season.
I know it sounds ridiculous because of his win-loss record, but Matt Eberflus is brick by brick slowly winning me over. He has shown now here in these last couple weeks, the defense, how much they're carrying. He's showing how he can develop players like Kyler Gordon and Tyreek Stevenson, Jervon Dexter with another sack. He's showing a guy like, Hardy, who makes a big play in the first week. You bring in Darrell Taylor.
Will you flus up your hair?
I'm not going to flus up my hair. Although, when I do.
You have a good base. You could flus up. That beard, you flus up.
Yeah. So I just.
Braggs needs to flus up.
I'm giving Flus a lot of credit. I thought he handled the preseason really well. with
He
getting.
did?
Yeah, I thought
you
he
didn't think
did.
they should have played more? I get that not a whole lot goes on.
As much would I have played them in the final preseason game? Yes, but do I think that would have changed what's going on right now? No, because there's no avoiding the learning curve that needed to take place once you get into these regular season games and you start having legitimate defensive looks and things being thrown at you. There's no avoiding this process we are currently going through.
Maybe they would have seen that Nate Davis can't even block in a basic scheme in a preseason game, and they would have moved along, perhaps. But okay, fair enough. Let's see. Bear down Omaha? Bear down, my guy. Waldman was supposed to be the 2 tight end guy, right? We did hear that a lot, bear down, and yeah, get the tight ends going would be great.
Well, I mean, after Caleb almost getting his head taken off here last Sunday night, anything they can do to maximize the protection. They did a few where they had 2 tight ends in the backfield and a running back behind them. I know that formation kind of looked a little ridiculous, but like 2 tight end sets, running backs in the backfield, fullback if you want to bring him back on the active roster, Kari Blasing, anything you can do to try to maximize the protection help to help Caleb Williams have a cleaner pocket. That to me is, I think, something they need to look at here this Sunday.
All right. Next up is Michael Renault. It's Renault. I know we went over that, Michael. I apologize.
Renault.
I don't, it's an age thing over here.
Renault is on fire. We don't need no water. Let the
outside zone won't work with our offensive line. Power run will. Okay. Hey, and I saw some chats today like get Roshan in there. Let's run. Let's just slam him into the through the interior and see if that helps. At this point, I'm not opposed to it, but you know what's interesting too? I went back and looked at DeAndre Swift's numbers. I'm going to do this on the fly for you, Gregory. DeAndre Swift, do you think when you go and sign a player, would you speculate that they played well against you?
Huh?
Do you think that DeAndre Swift, when he was a Lion, played well against the Bears, if you had to guess? Because, the Bears went out and...
He did have that one huge run on, like, that Monday Night Football game, I believe.
He also had that one huge drop that would have won the Lions a game.
Yeah. Look, you go back to 2020. His first game against the Bears, 3 carries, 8 yards. All right? That was 2020. He was a rookie. It was his first game in the league. No problem. Let's not take too much from that. Next year against the Bears, 8 carries for 16 yards. Greg, you're not a math major, but how many yards is that per carry?
I don't know because I wasn't listening.
I know. 8 carries for 16 yards. How many yards per carry?
I don't know because I'm not listening.
That would be 2.
Okay, I'm sorry.
3 carries in his next game against the Bears for 0 yards. Okay. How many yards a carry is that?
0.
Very good. All right, that's
I literally guessed.
That's 3 games that did absolutely nothing. Next game against the Bears, 6 carries for 6 yards.
Okay.
How many is that?
6. 0. I'm not listening. I'm not listening. Just get through your thought.
No,
quit testing me.
This is show between me and you. We're together.
I don't want to listen.
I listen to you. You
reading.
Listen to me. Listen
Guy Finley's got a super chat.
6,
I'm reading.
Listen.
What?
6 carries for 6 yards.
6 yards. What about
that's
it?
1 yard a carry.
1 yard a
Greg,
carry. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're asking me.
11, and then he finally had a good game against the Bears. 11.
This is like in school when the teacher knew I wasn't paying attention. They'd be like, Greg. And they'd ask me the question, knowing damn well that I had no idea what they were
I've never
talking
experienced before in my life, the last 2 minutes that I just experienced. 11 carries, 11 carries for 78 yards finally in his last game. He did nothing against the Bears ever.
Okay.
And last year, and this is not to, make it out like it's the worst signing I've ever seen, but last year he had 2 games over 100, week 2, week 3. 175 against the Vikings, 130. But he's got all these games, 10 for 18, 6 for 13, 11 for 39. 18 carries for 43 yards. I mean, when he pops, but I don't know, man. It ain't looking like a home run, this signing. I'm sorry.
Well, he's coming off his first 1,000-yard season, and it was behind one of the best offensive lines in the league with the Eagles.
Let's take a step back. Remember, you said you were going to take a few steps back and they've got a lot to figure out, not just with the pass protection, but the run schemes and implementing this offense. I'm just saying, they
That's
do.
Fine.
So, we're ready to burn it all down.
No, I'm not burning anything down. I'm just trying to look at your options at running back, and you have one guy in Khalil Herbert who led the league in yards per carry. Listen, I'm sure it'll get better, but I wish I would have taken a more critical eye to that signing when it was done. But we will move along.
Just like we were talking about, changing the offensive linemen, that's going to fix it. Changing the running backs, that's going to fix it. And I said on the postgame show, you're rearranging the chairs on the Titanic as we're sinking. What you need to do to keep the boat from sinking is plug the holes in the bottom of the boat where the water's coming in, the foundation, the scheme, the system, the execution. That is to me the priority one. Once you get how you want to call a game down, once you get how everybody's on the same page with how they want to run the system, how they can identify what they're looking at defensively, then you can start pointing fingers at who's not doing their job good enough or who you can upgrade at certain positions on the O-line and running back. Right now, I think it's hard to evaluate anything right now until they get that figured out.
You know who's averaging 4.5 yards a carry?
Khalil Herbert.
His name is David Montgomery. Remember
David
him?
Montgomery?
You jerk.
Again,
David
really good
Montgomery.
offensive line.
Again, really good offensive line,
and
a good system, that they've had for a few years.
I get the difference. I understand Detroit's good up front.
Well, then quit it.
No, I'm not going to quit it. Your Montgomery take was horrible.
What my Montgomery take is that he's replaceable. It's not, don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm not saying he's not solid. I'm just saying you can get the production you get. That's what I've always said. You could always get the production you get from David Montgomery from many running backs.
David Montgomery would have been great as a
Put Khalil Herbert in David Montgomery's role with the Lions and then tell me what yards per carry he gets.
Okay, David Montgomery's better than Khalil Herbert.
Herbert led the league in yards per carry a couple years ago when David Montgomery left for Detroit. So if you want to cite yards per carry, then take that one and stick it up your cram.
Up the cram it goes. Let's get Oscar in here. My guy Oscar Styles, $10. I don't get it. We're not paying the quarterback, and we have the worst offensive line in the NFL. How does that happen? Because I can't explain it, Oscar. Thank you for the super chat. $20 from Dan Evans. The protection was bad during the preseason. That is why Caleb had all the great improvised plays.
Fair. That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. I saw Brent Coleman earlier said, but in the preseason, you guys said Caleb was going to walk on water. Hand up, man. I got way too excited about the opportunity that they were going to, just hit the ground running week one. You got me. Okay. I will admit that I got ahead of my skis, as I do every year, about the potential of the offense. And I always seem to underestimate the process that it's going to take. Okay? Is that what you need me to say? Because that is the truth. He makes a lot of amazing plays. Caleb has a dynamic arm ability. They have so many great talent players. And sometimes I can get lost in the sauce when I see those kind of things going on the team that I root for and just wish they'd be great every Sunday. So now we're here and we see what's going on and things make sense. And so we got to take a step back and recalibrate some of our thoughts. But you're right. I was wrong in thinking that the offense was going to hit the ground running week one.
All right, Kyle. Everything I said all preseason and on today's show and on yesterday's show and on tomorrow's show was dead on accurate. $10 from Kyle. As fans of this poverty franchise, how do we put emotion and frustration aside we did that one before. Okay. We got you, Kyle. Thank you so much. You get a double read today because we love you. Crystal not getting a double read. She just sent another super chat for $10. Thanks so much, Crystal. Sending another one back-to-backs to celebrate Carman CHGO on the back-to-back champs. Great job, guys. Three-peat coming soon. I'm already thinking about the week 1 lineup and the fact that Greg's going to play in one game next year.
I might be ready next year. We'll see.
No, you're playing in one game. You're batting last, and actually, I'll just get you one at bat. We'll have you pinch hit when we're up 12-1. Matthew Atkinson, $4.99. Thank you, Matthew. Braggs inspires me to work. Carm inspires me to love myself. Hogue inspires me to always be right. And Nick inspires me to look great. Bears. Might be the best super chat of all time.
That was a really good super chat.
Thank you, Matthew. Elite Emma.
You're the
in the distance supports it too.
inspiration.
You bring feeling to my life.
You're the inspiration.
When I love somebody.
That's all I got.
Till the end of time. Okay. Kyle Smith, $5. Thank you, Kyle. Why did Swift have such a hard time, I guess, in the run game? That's what I think you meant.
Pizzatola, Carm inspires me to hurl.
It was extremely frustrating. Why did Swift Kyle, I think we got to throw everybody in there. Now I would like to see him break some tackles, but if he had broken a tackle, he would have been down 5 seconds later, 0.5 of a second later. So a lot of things got to get better. The Giggities, good to see you, $5. Eberflus is showing me he can't make a good challenge this year, Braggs. He's 2 for 7, Giggities.
Okay.
Don't forget about the 2.
That's fair.
I mean,
he's, like I said, I fired him so many times last year. I'm trying to give him, some credit on things that I think deserve acknowledgement. I'm not going to challenge him on the I'm not going to fire him on the challenges yet. For now.
That's
job
good.
is safe.
Didn't you just say a second ago that you loved him?
Was
I on the show when you said that?
I don't think I said I loved him. Did I say that? I mean, I do say a lot of things.
You said something really nice about him that you come to really respect him. Whatever the hell you said, it was very nice. And now you're like, okay. I get it. It's a roller coaster. $10. Guy Finley, our guy. Your guy, my guy, Steven's guy.
Guy's guy.
This is the price of drafting Rome. You drafted ice cream when you needed steak. Imagine Fuaga anchoring this line right now. This was my nightmare. Caleb destroyed by a Swiss cheese offensive line. Hey, Guy, I got good news for you. Now, I'm not saying it's built to last, Guy. But are you aware of who the Chicago Bears are playing this week? Greg, who are they playing this week?
The Indianapolis Colts.
The Indianapolis Colts.
I'm listening.
All right. Very good. Who's second from the bottom in yards allowed this year?
The Indianapolis Colts.
That's right. Don't get confused. You can do this.
Maybe it's a trick question.
No questions. 400 yards a game. That's 200 more than the Tennessee Titans, by the way. Who remember them? We saw them. They're giving up double the yards of the team that we played. Okay. And by the way, the Texans are third at 254, 150 more yards. By the way, how many yards a game are they giving up on the ground? That would be 237. Who's worse in the NFL at giving up rushing yards?
The Indianapolis Colts.
There you go. The next closest are the Carolina Panthers, who suck to high heaven too. So 237 to 199. How many? That's amazing. How many yards on the ground are the Texans giving up? 87.5. That's more than double. All right, and then let's go to the points. By the way, not giving up as many points. I shouldn't have brought that up. Bad category might be Carman, but that's because the Packers had Malik Willis at quarterback.
That's okay. I wasn't listening when you said that part.
That's good. Indy stinks.
I don't think anybody was.
Indy stinks, Guy. The offensive line 1 week better. This game 1 week better. Let's see what happens when we get to week 4.
Like Gary Ross said, DeForest Buckner is going to be out, and that he's a big part of their game on the interior of that defensive line. At the end of the day, those stats are great, but those stats were against teams that aren't the Chicago Bears.
Time of possession. The Bears should have it a ton. The Colts have had it like a third. So let's go.
Yeah, Colts have given up a league-high 350 rush yards this year. You mentioned DeForest Buckner being out as well. I mean, if this is really shaping up, if it's going to be a run game, it's got to be DeAndre Swift.
They got to get going here. But again, those stats are all great, but they were against teams that aren't the Bears. So
but everyone and their mother knew that the Packers were going to run the hell out of the ball.
And
yet the Packers ran the ball extremely efficiently with Josh Jacobs,
right.
who I don't even think is very good.
But they also have Matt LaFleur, who is arguably one of the best play callers in the league, and certainly looks like he's top 5 now. Dude. And so I'm just saying, like, that's great. Those stats are great, but you know what the Colts are going to do against the Bears? They're going to do what the Texans did, and they're going to blitz the daylights out of Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. So the only way that they'll be able to get those yardage numbers and beat up a Colts team that's hasn't looked great the first 2 weeks is by fixing some of the stuff that has caused them to have 7 sacks in one game. None of that matters if they can't figure that part out. Let's hope they do. Obviously, I'm sure they're working very hard to try to get that, dialed in.
$2 from Gritty. Everyone just needs to relax brick by brick. That's a great way to end the show, Gritty. Gregory, I had a great time with you today. It was a lot of fun. Yep. Even the times when you were not listening to
He's
what
not
I was
listening
saying.
right now.
I'm not listening.
Yeah.
Before we go, just a reminder, everyone, to subscribe to the 85 and then also make sure to watch it 7 p.m. tonight. That'll be debuting.
7 p.m. And who's the guest?
Alec Pierce.
Alec Pierce of your Indianapolis Colts.
Wow.
Friend of Cole, friend of the program, and obviously a preview of who the Bears are going to see on Sunday. I want to say a couple other thank yous as we bring the championship back to its place that it belongs.
Stays home.
Stays home, right here. We're going to party with this thing. First of all, to everybody who played in the game this year. Everyone contributed. You brought out the great energy. I want to give a special shout-out to my guy Joey Spathis, who's been a phenomenal teammate here at CHGO. And last night, we had 7,000 players trying to get in. Spathis was like, Carm, I don't care if I don't play, if I've hit one at bat, or if you send me home right now. All I want to do is win the game. That was the attitude that brought us to the title. Spathis was the man. Great job by Ryan Herrera. Great job by Mario. Great job by Herb. Cody Del Mendo making his Carm debut this year. That was huge. Luke and Cody and Sarah, who was like the most positive person in the history of the planet, watching us last night. I mean, you were a part of this championship. We were all a part of this. I'm sorry, I'm going long. A key component, too.
Mm-hmm.
Key component. I want to say thank you to our friends at HP Tops up in Highland Park. My guys with the T-shirts, because at the start of the season, when I was given the names, I spelled some names wrong, and we needed to get those fixed. And HP Tops got in there and said, Carm, no problem. I got you. And they put the I where the N needed to be, the N where the I needed to be. They can do a million different things over there. Larry's had that store since 1977. Jeff and Andy, his sons, they all do a phenomenal job at HP Tops.
Charlie the Bacon Guy.
And let me get to the home run thing.
Man, like when it's the Oscars, they like give you a clock.
Yeah. All right. Last two. To Kevin Kaduk, our head of content, moving up in the ALLCITY world, who trusted me to step in as the leader of CHGO softball 2 years ago. I mean, Kevin's made a ton of brilliant decisions around here.
Steven, like the Oscars, they start playing the music because they're like, hey, we're going to commercial break. Old guy, we get you your award, but you got to go.
Lastly, to our friend on the screen, thank you, Kevin, for trusting me. Lastly, to our guy, Charlie the Bacon Guy. The energy that we played with each week because of the bacon in our bellies, because of the whole mantra, strips for the ship.
Strips for the what?
Strips for the chip. That's what I meant. Ship. I'm still learning.
Ship?
I'm still learning about winning. Charlie the Bacon Guy, charliethebacon.com. You believed in this team. You saw the future before some people did. And you said, I want to be tied to this team. And there it is. Look at our guy. Oh,
tastes like victory.
Oh, the taste of victory. Steve is just crushing it right now.
Tastes
and that's
like
what we were
champions.
doing. Just eating it up, Charlie. So delicious. Charlie the Bacon Guy leading us to a division, a championship, and a back-to-back.
Congratulations to you. You've paid your dues. Time after time.
Time after time. We could say goodbye now.
You've done your sentence, but committed no crime.
What are you reading from?
And bad mistakes. You've made a few, right?
Keep on going.
You've had some sand kicked in your face, but carbs come through, and we go on and on and on and on. We are the champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting till we end. Because we are the
We all silly like the mayor.